doesn't exist. So on that note, I want to talk about Brazil's election. Today, Jair Bolsonaro won the election by over 10 million votes. He's up to like 54 million people voted for him. So like I said earlier, the narrative that this right-wing populist, anti-establishment, movement, it's only in America, it's only poor white people who are racist and horrible. Unfortunately, it's just not true. And the big problem I have with the right wing's not perfect, but the big problem I have with the left wing is they keep lying about this, they keep misreporting it, and they keep reveling in their own delusion, so they're never actually going to solve the problem, and they're losing all over the world. They lost in America, they lost in Quebec, they lost in Ontario. The liberal and progressive parties are having historic losses. I think the first time in 151 years that they lost party status up in Canada when Doug Ford won. And now you have Jair Bolsonaro, who was hated by the media. He was called the Brazilian Trump. If you watch his videos, he's very, very outspoken. He's not politically correct. He can be quite blunt and mean, but overall, he's just like a strong guy who's just sick and tired of the BS, and that's resonating very well in Brazil. 54 million people voted for him. This is not a small fringe group. This is hundreds of millions of people in the world. And what I want to say, like I said earlier, but I'm repeating because I'm going to chop it up on YouTube. If you're right wing, you're happy, you think common sense is getting back, law and order, people are waking up. If you're left wing, you're shocked, you're angry, you're confused, you're hateful, you're nasty, you're negative, maybe neither, you're just very upset. And what I'm here to tell you is, in order to fix the problem, in order to stop a Trump or a Bolsonaro or anybody that you think you want to stop, you have to properly identify the problem. If you keep saying it's just poor white middle Americans and no one else feels that way, you're lying to yourself. I went to a political convention in California and there were hundreds of black and Hispanic Trump supporters. There's tens of millions of people in Brazil who feel this certain way. So it's hundreds of millions of people, has really nothing to do with race. It's all ideology and all mindset. And if you really want to beat it, if you really want to stop Bolsonaro, you have to properly identify it. I always use the terminology, say there's a leak, okay? Your water's leaking. You have to fix the leak if you really want to solve the problem. If you continuously say, it's that person's fault, it's this person's fault, it's your fault, it's the Russians, it's the poor white people, it's the racists, it might feel good, you might feel empowered, you might feel like you're really stopping oppression and you're really stopping bad people, but you're really not. It didn't work in America, it didn't work for Brexit in Great Britain, it's not working in Canada, it's not working in Brazil, it's not working in a lot of parts of Europe. It's really just not working because you're not being honest about it. And why did Trump win? I'm here to tell you, I know people don't want to hear it, but you have to listen or else you're just going to keep losing. And I don't want you to lose because I want there to be a strong left. I don't want to just see the right wing run rampant all over. The world is a balance. We need third and fourth and fifth party and stuff, but we're not going to get it because the left is totally collapsing at the core. Why did Bolsonaro win? Why did Trump win? Why is Canada going right wing? I'm going to tell you right now, and no media is going to tell you. They're just going to continuously say the same thing on loop and dupe the progressives. You're being lied to. If you're a liberal, you're being lied to by liberal media. I don't know any other way to say it. So Bolsonaro won and Trump won. People are sick of political correctness. You have such a soft, weak society that they're basically getting rid of a poo on Simpsons because it's offensive and you can't say this and you can't say that and you can't say this and you can't say that because you're offending people. People are sick and tired of it. Everyday working class people, wealthy people, poor people, nobody wants to live in a society where you don't have free speech and you're demonized for making a joke or saying something that might be true but very unpopular to say. No one wants to feel that way. They don't want to feel that way in Brazil. They don't want to feel that way in Canada. They don't want to feel that way in the United States. Political correctness, although both sides do it, both sides censor each other, the left is guilty of just collapsing under this PC culture. And to be honest, it's quite hypocritical because if you look at it from the United States standpoint, they're so mad at Apu from The Simpsons, but when it comes to Syria and Libya and liberal and conservative politicians who basically marched over there, destabilized the region and caused a refugee crisis which displaced millions of people and in turn basically destabilized Europe, no one cares about that. So it's like you don't care about the wars that affect millions of lives in the Middle East and in Europe, like literally the biggest thing that's impacting the world, but you care about your feelings because a Simpson character hurt your feelings. Nobody likes this political correctness. It has real life consequences. It's not compassionate, it's not kind, it's not helping anyone. It's actually destroying the fabric of society. In Brazil, is the same as the United States. Me personally, I don't care if you're gay, straight, lesbian, trans. It's all love to me. But Bolsonaro is very strong. You could say straight Brazilian male. You know, he has a very mentality. He loves God. He loves the family. And he's unapologetic about it. Why is that succeeding? I'll tell you why. Somebody that's very hippie-minded as myself, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're a beta male, you know what I'm saying, a weaker guy who is just like chiller. I don't care if you're anything. Be what you want to be. But what the liberal media is doing is social media platforms and countries like Brazil and the United States that's really ticking off the average Brazilian and American is they say 100% you have to be a beta male, you have to be weak, or else you're a toxic male, you're a toxic Christian male, or you're a toxic Jew male, or whatever, I don't know, whatever religion or race, doesn't matter. As long if you're strong and you want to be a real man, then you can't be it. You should have like 50% of people saying, no, I want to be an alpha male. You could have 50% of people being like, no, you could be a beta male and gay. That's fine. I'm all for competition. But when you have like big tech companies censoring the alpha male and censoring the strong male and telling you you have to be beta or you're a toxic human being, it's very off-putting, even to people like myself that's super chill and doesn't care what you do or what anyone else does. So you're losing me. If you're losing me, I'm pretty far left, not when it comes to policies, I'm more libertarian, but I'm left-leaning when it comes to social issues. I'm maybe as far left as you could get socially, but I don't even like the modern day left. I prefer the conservative. They might be mean, they might say something I disagree with, but whatever. It's just a word. It's not like oh my God, my feelings are so hurt because someone doesn't like, whatever, man, like get over it. So in Brazil, you have like gay culture, trans culture, beta male culture. If you don't agree with this, you're a racist, sexist, xenophobe, toxic male, and you need to be destroyed in your life. It's not popular. I don't care how many celebrities say it. I don't care how many social media sites push it and ban and censor other people. I don't care how many negative articles they put out about Bolsonaro and Donald Trump. It's not popular. It's not working. PC culture and social justice warrior culture is a virus to society that is leading even the most liberal, hippie-minded people sprinting in the other direction to get away because you care about your feelings and television characters that are fictional more than you care about politicians starting wars, funding terrorists, funding rebel groups, funding countries that are literally basically causing the biggest humanitarian crisis and famine of the modern era. That takes a backseat to your feelings about fictional television characters or how one Christian guy feels about a gay guy. Who cares? It's like, it's so lame, it's so counterproductive, and it's so fake. Nobody likes it. Political correctness is not popular. It didn't work in Brazil. It's not working here. But when do you hear what I'm saying? You never hear what I'm saying because they don't want to tell you the truth. And why is this so bad? It's bad because it's actually helping the right wing. If you're a liberal and you're a progressive, you should like me more than conservatives and right wingers. But nobody does, because the second you tell the left wing the truth, they say anomaly. No, you're a right wing neo-Nazi bigot. And I'm like, I am. I'm trying to help lower the right wing and help empower the left wing to not be such a fail, but all of a sudden I'm a terrible person for telling you the truth. It's like being on your team at halftime. I'm not talking to the other team. I'm saying, hey, we got to get better. Our defense needs to be better. We need to rebound. We need to box out. Anomaly, how dare you tell us to rebound and box out and not just blame the referee and the other team? Okay, losers. And I'm not saying loser like you're a loser. I'm talking like you're going to lose the game. So you're a loser. And I'm not being mean or negative, but I don't want to lose. I want to win. So liberals and progressives, they don't want to win. They want to lose. They want to revel in their own delusion and their own negative, false interpretation perspective of America and Brazil and the world and continue to revel in their own confusion because they don't want to face the truth. Political correctness and social justice warrior culture is not only not productive, it's actually very counterproductive. It's actually emboldening the right wing and empowering the right wing, and it's actually bringing racism to the forefront because my man, Martin Luther King, while he talked about using darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. The right wing, I'm expecting them to be accountable, but I always thought the left wing was the loving and compassionate people, but it just doesn't seem like it anymore. So that's what we were supposed to do on the left. was have that love and compassion. We don't even have that anymore. We're like, we're going to be hateful and it's going to work. No, it doesn't work. MLK knew that. And he also judged people by content of character. And that's not what this groupthink far left ideology is. It's you're black, you have to be negative and hate your life. It's like, what? You're Latino, Hispanic, you have to support this, even though nobody does. You're white, it's your fault, even though your parents probably immigrated from Europe and didn't really work in factories, but it's all your fault. You're this, you're gay, you have to feel that way. It's like groupthink robotic ideology. It's the opposite of what Martin Luther King said. He didn't say, pick this person because of their skin color and let them in, and don't let this person in because of their skin color. That's racism. And it's like, it's so prevalent on the left now. Of course there's racism on the right, but the leftist racism is so confusing, and then they also use projection tactics to call everyone else racist. It's just like a weirdo cold ideology, and it's failing in Brazil, it's failing in the United States. And another reason that Trump and Bolsonaro are winning, and it's going to continue to happen until the left faces this cold, harsh reality that I'm saying. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help you out. Why is the left wing collapsing? Because they're not listening to what I'm saying right now. They're not considering it, and they just, instead of considering it and applying it, they just keep getting more mad at me and more mad at people. Another reason that Trump and Bolsonaro just won is because people are tired of like weakness and naivety, being naive. I'm all for peace, love, compassion, positivity. I'm as liberal as you can get when it comes to that personal ideology. But when it comes to a security guard at a venue I'm at, I want the security guard to be very strong. I want them to pat everyone down. I don't want them to be little flower pickers like, oh, we're just going to let people in because we don't want to be racist. We're going to let everyone in without going through the metal detector because I'm such a chill person that I love black and Hispanics more than you do. It's like, I don't want my security guard to be like that. I don't want my politicians to be like that. I don't want my border patrol to be like that. I don't want my police officers to be like that. I don't want them to be hurting innocent people or arresting a bunch of people because of marijuana. I'm down for prison and law reform like that. And I know there's corrupt police, just like there's corrupt people at every level, every job, everywhere, and they need to be held accountable. I don't want people to be that weak and naive. And it seems like that's what the left has become under Trump. During Obama deported more illegals than any president ever. Some reports even say that he's outpacing Trump when it comes to deportation. No one on the left cared. I thought that was like pretty standard. Like, yes, not everyone should be deported, but you know, you also, that's the law and that's what Obama's doing, even though he's a liberal. Just makes sense. I guess he's upholding the law. That's what the president's supposed to do. It's not my job if I'm working on a farm, which I did, working with illegals. My job is not to deport them. I was befriended them. I have friends that are illegals that I like better than a lot of citizens. But I'm not if I'm the president, I don't expect him to pick, tomatoes in a farm with me. I expect him to uphold the law of the United States. So now liberals, as Trump wins, they're like, oh, what border wall? That's bad. Okay, well, what should we do? We'll just let everyone in because it's not even our land. It's like, whoa. I'm not that type of liberal. I'm not that foolish and naive. And a lot of people aren't. It's not a popular decision. And a lot of Bolsonaro, watching his interviews, he was popular because he said, you know what? We can't treat the police like this. We can't treat law and order like this. He's like, I'm going to go for criminals. Like, he's like a strong guy. It's like, it's not saying you let the police do whatever and hurt innocent people, but do you want to be too strong and too corrupt? No. But do you want to be the opposite? Do you want to be weak and like little flower pickers and just let everyone do whatever? No, you're going to create chaos. Of course, crime's going to go up. Of course, corruption's going to go up. And the everyday working class person always gets screwed because the taxpayer who works a 9 to 5 and has a family continuously gets money sucked out of them. And now it feels like you're not even getting anything in return. So it's not popular in the United States. It's not popular in Canada. It's not popular in Brazil. Modern day liberalism, when it comes to like weakness at the borders, weakness with law enforcement, weakness with policy, it's like everything's lopsided to hurt the working person and to promote and support and endorse either the person that's not from the country or the person that's just smoking crack on the side of the street or doing heroin. It's like, it's not really for the person. I mean, I don't even know if we'll see at the end of the year, but who knows how much money I'm going to pay in taxes. I already paid so much money in taxes. They've probably taken $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 from me, and then they're going to take more money at the end of the year. All I do is pay for other people. So it's like, I I don't know who it is. Maybe it's going to war that I don't even agree with. Maybe it's going to programs that don't actually work as homeless gets bigger in my city. I don't know where it's going, but I don't like it. So naturally, a lot of people are leaning libertarian. Stop taking my money. Stop being so weak. Stop being so foolish. Stop being so naive. I talked to my friend from Syria. He's from Syria, has actual internal perspective. I said, my brother, how many people going to Europe in these refugee programs that were mainly, endorsed by a lot of liberals? There were conservatives too, but EU and UN. And he said, I think about 25% of them were probably terrorist organization affiliates. So that's someone in Syria telling you that 25% of the people that were refugees were terrorists. How did 25% terrorists, how do hundreds of thousands of ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and terrorist organizations, how do they get into peaceful countries like Europe? Well, they do it because they don't have leaders like Trump and Bolsonaro who are strong and might be unpopular and might seem mean, but they have their country's best interests at heart. Yes, I love the world, but I'm not going to let terrorist organizations into my country. That's not what the left does. And honestly, that's not even what some conservatives do. They just say, oh, we love refugees. Yeah, so do I. We love all people. Yeah, so do I. I probably love them more than you do. Not to make it a competition, but you act like I'm so bad. I probably love them more. But I'm also not foolish. But they are foolish. And Bolsonaro and Trump, they're not foolish. They're saying no. We're not going to let hundreds of thousands of terrorists in our country. We're not going to let a caravan of 10,000 people who, of course, are going to be, partially criminals, partially members of organizations that you don't want in the country. I mean, what if 10,000 people from the U.S., if we hit a recession and then 10,000 people marched up towards the Canada border, do you think it's going to be the biggest winners in the country? Or do you think it's going to attract some people that you probably wouldn't want into your country? It probably would be. No matter what skin color, ethnicity, or religion or language they spoke, it's just basic common sense. And you don't find that on the left anymore. If you have common sense and you try to bring it to a liberal party or a liberal meeting or a progressive meeting, you can't exist there because their whole ideology is based on identity politics, political correctness, and racial and religious pandering towards certain religions that literally treat women the worst on a home scale. And it's like, I have no problems with Muslims. I have no problems in South America. To be honest, I find it interesting that conservatives, Christians in America, they're all for, keeping the woman, giving her back like more of a normal woman role from the old times. And I find similarities even in the Muslim religion. They treat women very like that. So I find it funny that Christians and Muslims can't see eye to eye on that. It's like, hey, we like our women conservative. It would be nice to see people get along on that. But in general, it's like the conservative Muslim women is the exact opposite of the liberal woman ideology. Muslims are more conservative with their women than Christians are. But it's like you have liberal women in America and Brazil. They hate Christian males in America, but they like further conservative women ideology of Muslim culture. And I'm not disrespecting that culture. It doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. Nothing leftist makes sense anymore. And I don't want it to be that way because I don't think the right is perfect. I think there's a lot of hypocrites on the right. I think there's a lot of identity politics on the right. I think there's a lot of anti-free speech on the right. I think certain conservatives, they like free speech until you disagree with them. Then all of a sudden they're trying to get you kicked off Twitter. I'm more of a real conservative than a lot of conservatives. I'm not even conservative because I believe in true free speech and I support our amendments, I guess. But overall, Bolsonaro and Trump, they're not going to go away because the left and their biggest enemies and the progressives and the third and fourth and fifth party people who don't like them, they don't want to tell you what I'm telling you right now. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart and soul, I don't understand why. I can't fathom why they don't want to listen to me. I can't fathom why they don't want to tell the truth. I can't fathom why they're on this weirdo loop of repeating the same lies and the same false narratives and just blaming poor white Americans over and over and over again when that's not true. That's not why Trump won. That's not why he's doing well now. It's definitely a part of it. And if it is a part of it, even if it is true, say it's uneducated people in Middle America, which I find very false. I find there's very well-off people in Middle America who are actually educated and smart. It's not all poor, uneducated like the liberal media will say. But even if it was, say that that's true, although I think it's not, don't you want to show love to that base? I don't know. If they truly are poor and uneducated, what are you, a tyrant? I don't hate anybody. Why would I hate poor, uneducated people, even if that was true? You just you're going to hate them and you think you're going to get their vote? You're going to hate on the working class person and act like you're the working class party? Nothing the Democratic Party in America is doing makes sense. Nothing the Liberal Party in Canada is doing makes sense. And nothing they're doing in Brazil is making sense. And Bolsonaro, while he may be blunt and mean sometimes, he makes more sense to me, to Brazilians. Donald Trump, is he perfect? No. Would I say things that he says? No. Do I agree with all of his policies? No. But does he make more sense to me than liberals? 1,000%. That's why I made the song I Like Trump, because I like Trump. It's like, I like him. I don't know. I like everybody. I don't hate anybody in the world, but I find Trump rather intriguing and rather productive as opposed to this fake social justice, fake pandering, fake PC, fake outrage, fake refugee, fake immigration policy. Everything's so fake. Of course they have all the celebrity support. What are celebrities? They're people who go on television and movies and pretend to be someone they're not. Their whole life is literally faking a new identity. Why would I trust them for my political support? Of course they support socialists and communists because they don't even know what they're doing anymore. And you want to talk about Russian propaganda? You talk about the biggest Russian influence on America was in the 80s and 90s. They spent a lot of their energies trying to subvert people's minds through psychology, through mass media, through the entertainment world, through music, through anywhere they could, any entertainment, to turn people into socialists and communists, because anybody who reads anything knows that anytime the government takes that much power and it claims to redistribute it, it always ends in oppression and bloodshed and, you know, horrible tanking economies. So that's what they wanted to do to us. And the irony now is you have a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of academia shilling for an ideology that would internally destroy America while saying that they're fighting Russia, although that's literally Russia's dream is what they're doing. It's like you have the propagandists from Russia probably cracking up from the 90s. They're like, oh my goodness, who would have known it would have worked so well? It's like, wow, we literally got these people living in an upside down world. And a lot of us, we don't want to live in an upside down world anymore. It was fun for a while. Yes, left is right, right is left, up is down, this is that. I have to be backwards or you're going to yell at me and call me a bigot. It's cool. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be trans. It's okay to be whatever you want to be. But it's not okay to be a beta male and say, if you're not a beta male, you're a racist, sexist, xenophobe, and we're going to destroy your life because you're not as naive as me. That's not okay. I don't want the right to act that way. I don't want the right to act nasty and negative, and they do. And I tell them all the time, and they don't listen, and it's okay. Some people do, some people don't. Everyone's individualist. I don't expect everyone to do as I say. I just wish the right would be a little chiller. But, you know, they're upset. The left is upset. I get it. Everyone's confused. Everyone's mad. Everyone wants to win. Whatever. Same story. The cycle continues. We're on the hamster wheel. But my point of this video is to tell you that, one, Jair Bolsonaro from Brazil just won the election. He had over 10 million more votes than his opponent. 54 million people, 55 million people voting that way. It's not just white Americans. It's not just white Canadians or white Europeans. It's a whole ideology battle going on in the world. You have, and there needs to be love and compassion. Hear me out, left. You need to be the love and compassionate type, but you have to pair that love and compassion and kindness with common sense and a real full-scaled approach. You can't just guilt and yell at everybody and be PC and act and think it's going to work out. It's not going to work out. It's not working out in Brazil. It's not working out in the United States. It's literally leading so many people far away. There's probably going to be a red wave in November. I'm sorry. There's more registered Republicans voting than Democrats. And that's not even counting the probably 10 to 30% of Democrats who are actually going to vote Republican. That's just my personal analysis on it. We'll see when it comes to the vote. But you can't continuously complain about Trump and Bolsonaro and right-wing people and not identify the problem. If you want to say everybody's racist, sexist, Nazis, and you hate them all, you can do that. You can lose every single election for the rest of your life. You could lose the entire world to right-wing ideology, and you're only going to make right-wing people happier. So it's not going to work. You can ignore me like people have ignored me for the last 2 years, 3 years, call me this name, try to make me feel bad, try to intimidate me, do all this stuff. It's not going to work. I don't know what to tell you. I could lie to you and say, yeah, keep doing that. That's a good strategy. That's going to for sure work. But it's not working because it's not fair. It's not accurate. They just repeat the same thing. Bolsonaro's racist. Bolsonaro's sexist. Bolsonaro hates gay people. Trump hates everybody. Blah, blah, blah. It's not true. I'm sorry. You cannot like them. You cannot agree with them. But stop poo-pooing on the hundreds of millions of people. Literally between just Trump And Bolsonaro supporters, you have over 100 million people. That's not counting the billions. I'm talking billions of people who agree with them on planet Earth. And billions of people disagree with them. And that's fine. But if you really want to stop this right-wing movement or populist movement, people like Tucker Carlson, he says, I don't like populism. He said, I don't like, and I agree with him, I don't like a too strong right wing and a not strong enough left wing and no competition. That's not healthy. Populism is a sign that something's going profoundly wrong with the United States government and worldwide governments, and it is. People don't trust politicians anymore, rightfully so, because they say one thing on the television, start wars, and then censor you for having a normal opinion. People don't trust the media anymore, as they shouldn't. They predict every election wrong now. They're lying through their teeth every single day. They're lying to liberals and they're duping progressives, which is quite the crime in my opinion, because you're literally destroying the minds of hundreds of millions of people and leaving them confused and glued onto the television while you sell pharmacy pill advertisements in the commercial. It's a disgusting cycle that the mainstream media does. They're horrific entities who, will have to reap what they sow as they blame everyone else in society, unfortunately. It's not working, though. People don't trust anyone. How do you regain the trust? By yelling at them? By hating on them? By getting more PC? By kicking an Indian television character that's a fictional cartoon off the television? By telling Scarlett Johansson she can't play a transgender role or else it's going to offend people? Do you think that's a type of social justice that's really helping anybody in the world? We have a famine in Yemen. We have wars, nonstop wars in the Middle East. We have terrorist organizations infiltrating Europe. You think your feelings about a fictional character or a transgender movie role is Martin Luther King worthy? Get out of town and take a bus. Or don't take a bus. Greyhound, I've been on it before. Miserable experience. Anyway, I really just want to say, please consider what I'm saying. Watch some of my videos and listen. I don't want you to agree with me. I don't want you to go in the voting booth and vote conservative. I want you, if you're a liberal, what I really want you to do is take what I'm saying, take the knowledge, the wisdom, the truth that you're not going to hear on mainstream media, use it to your advantage to strengthen your own party, strengthen a third party, strengthen a fourth party, make there some competition to right wing all over the world. Take that, because the world desperately needs options. And right now, Trump and Bolsonaro, they have no competition. That's why they're winning, because people, especially leftist ideology, has become such a fail. It's become so fake. It's become so weak. And instead of learning, listening, evolving, and adapting, and admitting that they're wrong about some things, all they do is double down on their failures, double down on the false narratives, double down on the hate, double down on the division, double down on the identity politics. And it's such an embarrassing failed strategy. Canada, when Justin Trudeau's gone, I guarantee you, is going to be a conservative right-wing leader. Donald Trump is going to win in 2020. Bolsonaro is spurring a movement in South and Central America that I guarantee you will inspire other South American countries to have a leader that says things that people don't want to hear, that might be politically incorrect, but has a backbone, a spine, and it isn't just like, we love the people and equality and the trans, and you're like, cool. And then they go and start a war overseas and give, $60 billion of funding to countries that are blowing people up. And I'm not even saying that Trump's fixing all that stuff too. I think there's a lot of leeway that needs to be had in the world. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, and I don't know how to solve it. I'm not even saying the right wing's doing the perfect job, but what I am saying is people are tired of the lies. They're tired of the fakeness. People want something real. And if the left doesn't learn from this Bolsonaro situation, if they keep just repeating the stupid news, oh, everybody's so bad except for me, they're such bad people, you're just going to keep losing. I don't understand. Aren't you tired of losing? Aren't you tired of lying? Aren't you tired of waking up every morning and being hateful? I wake up every morning grateful. Food, water, shelter. Wow, the world's waking up from the mind control. It's not that bad. But I have to read all this negative news all the time, and it sucks for me. And it's got to suck more for people who don't agree with my, libertarian-style policies that I support, because I don't like taxes that much, and I like common sense. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, some Democratic or liberal leader somewhere in the world will learn, finally, because this isn't going to stop. Bolsonaro's not the be-all, end-all. It's not the dark times ahead. This is a huge warning sign. Get your stuff together, or else the whole world is going to sweep like this, and certain people are going to like it, certain people aren't. So please, just consider what I'm saying. That's all I ask. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Brazil. God bless the world. God bless everybody, whether you agree or disagree with me. Just take an element of love or truth or compassion or common sense for what I'm saying. because I want there to be multiple options and sides and counter arguments. They need to exist, but it's not working anywhere because political correctness is not popular, and it shouldn't be. And I will be on the front lines, bigger than any liberal or conservative or Republican, fighting for free speech, because even Republicans want to throw it out the window the second you don't agree with them, or the second they want a virtue signal for, for their little media groups so they feel all special. I'm all for free speech, and I'm going to call out everyone. I'm all for, basically learning and listening and just getting better. And the left desperately needs to do that. So hopefully somebody listens, considers what I'm saying, and makes somewhat of a change on that side, because it's really going downhill. Congratulations to Brazil and Bolsonaro supporters. Hopefully this works out. I think to me, it's a good sign that people are waking up, but it can end up bad if we don't evolve from this. We can't crumble. We can't just destroy everything that we've built for so long. We need to build on this and learn, listen, and compromise. Thank you guys so much. I'm out. If you'd like to support, I got Patreon, donor box. I appreciate everyone supporting on that. Facebook started paying me in advertisements. Turned out they're even worse than Google. Unfortunately, almost all my videos are demonetized, and the ones that I put up that get a lot of views, they don't monetize them for like 6 more days. So until all the views settle, I don't get monetized, and literally like 90% of my videos aren't getting monetized. So thank you for the Patreon donor box support. Thank you to everyone signing up to my free email list. It's at the bottom. It's 100% free. Please sign up to that if you don't do anything else. And overall, thank you for your likes, your shares, your support. I've been running into so many people in person saying we're watching your videos like every day almost. It's crazy, and it's been nothing but love. It's good to see good people, out there. When you turn off the TV, you turn off the camera, the social media, and you go out into the real world, you realize it's not that bad. Who cares if we agree or disagree on politics? It's all love. So thank you guys so much for your support in every which way. I see it and I appreciate it.